more consistency. So yeah, pretty useful guy. Then we got Helmsman for Hire, which basically discards a card to add a card from the top of the deck to your discards a card to draw a card. Sorry, I kind of mumbled my words there. Basically a free draw by discarding a for hire card in your hand. I guess it's pretty good, but you know, it's not really what you want to see over something like a beat or a seal. But good for when you have like too many for hires in your hand and you kind of just want to get other cards. Next up, Bravo. Attack gaining, also our second level 4, so we can go into things like Tornado Dragon and Abyss Dweller. 1900 attack as well, and gains every for hire 500 attack, so it's really good for going in for the OTK, I guess. Next up, you got your two sailing twins, Dampa and Recon. These guys basically serve the same purpose. Recon pops set cards when a for hire special summoned, and Dampa destroys face-up ones. So this is one of the main ways you can trigger Folgo's effect if you don't have something like there can be only one up and on your field. Is also, they're just really good for destroying a whole bunch of cards, you know? So, you know, you can't go wrong with running 2 of each. Also, it's very searchable, so you know. Moving on to your non-for-hires, we're running 1 Gamma Seal so we can get over some boss monsters. Because this deck kind of struggles from getting over monsters with really high attack points. You kind of just focus on negating your opponent's stuff and hindering their plays while your plays remain basically unaffected. So Gamma Seal is really an interesting way to, you know, summon a big beater on your... Sorry, a small beater on your opponent's side of the field, and then just run it over with Raphael. Moving on for the final monster, running 3 Ash Blossom. It's pretty standard stuff. Some Searching Negation. Yeah, basically that's it. Now that's a pretty interesting monster lineup, but pretty cookie cutter to be honest. Now let's move on to the spells. We're running the only inarchetypal spell for hires that people actually like, Mayhem for hire. I understand that the field spell is there too, but come on, nobody plays that. Mayhem basically is a monster born and in-themed as a quick effect as well, so you can use it to summon back a monster for hire, and then trigger a Dampa or a Recon, or trigger some searches from Beat, and all that general good stuff. So you can't go really wrong with running 3 of it, since you kind of want a monster born for your full combo. Now for your one-offs, 1 for 1 for your Philo in hand, so you start off with a Beat and a Raphael. You can use this in order to pitch the Raphael to summon out the Philo, use Philo's effect to summon out the Beat, and then Philo will trigger special summoning back out the Raphael which sent for 1 for 1, and then Beat's effect will trigger as well as Raphael to excavate 2 and get you a search. So, you know, just a general way to get at Philo easier. Rhoda for your Beat. Mind Control, because the inarchetypal Link monster does not care what the monster's name is, it just needs 3 monsters of different types. Reasoning, just an easy way to get up more monsters. You could probably replace it with something else that's a little bit more consistent. Monster Born, just to bring back monsters in case you don't end up drawing Mayhem. Instant Fusion to suck up some monsters with our Eyes Restrict. Dark Hole, it's not, it's unlimited, but we just run it so that it's like a kind of a makeshift Raigeki. Just like a threat and negations, you know. And then finally, we got 2 Twin Twisters, just for background destruction and can help trigger Folgo's effect. Finally, moving on to the traps. You only have 4 here. 2 Solemn Strike for negation of monster effects and special summons. Also a possible trigger of Folgo, so that's really useful. And then finally, there can be only 1. I cannot tell you how many times I've played online using this card. It is an absolute game ender for certain decks. Because things like DDDs and Cyber Dragons, they all focus on machines and fiends respectively, and it's just very difficult for them to get through something like this if they don't draw their backer removal. Now, in some situations they do, and that kind of sucks, but in most situations they'll focus on getting out the combo, so they'll disregard trying to get any of the back removal, and you'll be able to just drop this on the board and make it so they can't really do anything, you know? That's about it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, we have, of course, the in-theme Link monster, Folgo, Justice for Hire. Now, in case you don't know what this guy does, he's a Link 3 that requires 3 monsters, different types. All the for hires are basically all different types, except a couple. He's a beast type that points up. Well, you can see the arrows. 2400 beater, I guess. He cannot be used for link material, which kind of sucks, but his effect speaks for itself when it's special summoned. You get to special summon another for hire monster from your deck to either side of the field in defense position. You usually use this to summon out the Philo. And when an opponent's card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to draw one card. And if you control 3 monsters for hire with different names, you draw 2 additional cards. So basically, if your opponent pops any of their own stuff, or you use some of your stuff to pop their stuff, you get free draws. And that's really good for your big boss monsters, because they need fodder for negation. You can also use it to draw into Ash Blossoms during your opponent's turn. You can use it to draw into like a whole bunch of stuff. So it's really useful. This guy is like one of the main reasons why for hires are actually good now. For your other Link monsters, we are running 1 Skull Dread. Pretty standard here, easy way to get +4, since you can really spam out the field pretty easily. Topolopic Bomber for blowing up boards, you can very easily build them back up. It's not really much of a hindrance. All you need to do is get a beat back into your hand with another for hire, and you're basically all ready to go again. Topolopic Zeraboros is kind of like a pseudo game ender. He's a big beater against big banishing decks. And for decks that focus on the graveyard, you can banish all their stuff on the board that they want you to destroy, and then just swing in for game. Here's the stand-in for Borreload. He's kind of a more control-based version of Borreload, so if you're rich, unlike me, you could probably go for a Borreload over a Borreload. And then finally, for your other Link 3, Topolopic Trishabane, which basically destroys back row and all specials and monsters it points to, and then burns for 500 for every single back row destroyed. So it can sometimes work with a card like Folgo, but usually I just use it for its big attack points. And for the final 8 monsters, we have Nightmare Phoenix and Cerberus. Basically just back row and monster removal, which also synergizes with Folgo, since it's pretty easy to get out multiple monsters. Try not to link in away all of your other for hire, though, because then you only get 1 card off the draw. Moving on to your final non-link extra deck monsters, we're running 1 Tornado Dragon and 1 Abyss Dweller. This is one of our ways in order to lock out games and get in additional draws. Abyss Dweller helps out in graveyard-centric decks like Orchists. Tornado Dragon helps get more draws off Folgo, which is really good. And then your instant fusion target, Thousand Eyes Restrict. That's about it for the deck. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any suggestions on what I should build next, I was thinking about maybe checking out Phantasm Spiral, because I am about to work in summer very soon, so I'm probably going to get enough money to buy something like that. If you enjoy this and want to see some of the combo videos, I'm sure to post those soon, so make sure to stay tuned. And make sure to like and comment, subscribe, and tell me what do you think of my deck? How do you think I did? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I guess I will see you next time. Bye-bye.